This TaxSlayer Pro training video features a brief discussion on EIC due diligence. I'm preparing a tax return for a client who's filing head of household with one dependent. And when we go to the income menu and enter the client's W-2, and when I exit the W-2 and exit the W-2 entry window, this takes me to the income menu. And because of my client's income and the fact that he has a dependent child filing head of household, the program recognizes that the client may possibly qualify for the Earned Income Tax Credit. This takes me to the EIC Due Diligence Checklist menu. And again, this will be recognized automatically by the program. Anytime on this menu that I see Must Answer, I need to access that menu option and answer the questions that are enclosed. So let's start off with number 1, EIC Due Diligence questions for all taxpayers. Was the taxpayer a non-resident alien for any part of the year? No. Did you explain to the taxpayer the rules about claiming the EIC when a child is the qualifying child of more than one person? And have you determined that this taxpayer is in fact eligible to claim the EIC for the number of children for whom the EIC is claimed? We'll answer yes, that I did explain this to the taxpayer. Did you explain to the taxpayer that he or she may not claim the EIC if the taxpayer hasn't lived with the child for over half the year, even if the taxpayer has supported the child? I'm going to answer yes to this question. And so now we've satisfied option number 1. We now have changed must answer to qualifies. Now we need to move down to the next section, EIC due diligence for taxpayer with a qualifying child. Does Whitney qualify another person for EIC? No. One question, and we have Whitney qualifying for EIC. And now let's check off option number 4, the 8867, the due diligence questions. Did you complete the return based on information for the tax year provided by the taxpayer? Yes. Did you interview the taxpayer, ask adequate questions, and document the taxpayer's responses? Now what I'm going to do before I answer yes to this question, if you've noticed up here at the top of this little window, I have an option to press F8 for EIC Due Diligence Notes. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I'm going to press the F8 key on my keyboard. During the client interview, I might make some notes that satisfy the IRS requirements that this client does indeed qualify for Earned Income Tax Credit. Or once I've entered my EIC Due Diligence Notes, I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And I'm going to go ahead and answer yes to this question. I did ask adequate questions and I did document the taxpayer's responses. Did I review adequate information to determine that the taxpayer is eligible to claim the credit? Yes, I did. Did any information provided by the taxpayer or reasonably known to you in connection with preparing the return appear to be incorrect? You want to be careful with this question. Notice we've answered yes to the previous questions, but we definitely want to answer this one no. Did you satisfy the record retention requirement? I'm going to answer yes. Did you ask the taxpayer whether he or she could provide documentation to substantiate eligibility? Yes, I did. Did you ask the taxpayer if any credits were disallowed or reduced in a prior year? Yes, I did. Were any of these credits disallowed? Again, you want to pay careful attention to this question. We need to answer this one no if our client qualifies for EIC. Did you certify that all answers on this form are, to the best of my knowledge, true, correct, and complete? Yes, I did. So now it appears that we've satisfied all the requirements of the EIC Due Diligence Checklist. So I'm going to exit I'm told that there's a $510 per credit penalty for failure to meet the EIC due diligence requirements. So I'm going to exit, and I'm back at the 1040 screen. And looks like my client did indeed qualify for the Earned Income Tax Credit according to the federal refund that I see. But let's take a look. I'm going to go over here to option number 8, Payments, Estimates, and EIC. And indeed, my client did qualify for $2,424 in EIC. Let's get back to basics. The 4 due diligence requirements that every paid preparer must do. First, complete the EIC checklist, the Form 8867 in the software. Allow the software to complete the Computation Worksheet. It shows all of the income sources that we factor: wages, self-employment, interest income, and adjusted gross. Keep thorough records, either paper or electronic, for 3 years. Include records of how, when, and from whom you got the information to prepare the return. Keep your records safe. Know the law. Document as you go. Use your knowledge to ask your client all the right questions to get all of the relevant facts. Preparers are expected to apply a common sense standard to the information that we receive. When in doubt, go to www.eitc.irs.gov for due diligence best practices.